Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am going to be talking today about some books that I've recently read and my writing, because I haven't talked about it yet really in depth on here. I'm not going to go too in depth, I just want to talk more about it, I guess, because I have not had a lot of time to write and I don't want to lose my motivation. Which I don't think I'll ever lose my motivation for this specific book. I've been writing it for a couple months now. But we're going to start with books. Before that though, I need to show you guys my new purse. I just got it in the mail. It is the Free People Baby Emerson tote in the color Salt. This is the cutest purse I've ever seen. I have the color Acai too, but I don't know, I splurged on another one. Bad choices, but I feel like this is just more summery. It can also be very winter, but I feel like the dark pink acai color was kind of less summer and more winter or fall. So I'm going to show you what I have in my bag, do a little what's in my bag before we start. It's very short. So first, I always have my current read, in my bag. I feel like they go together so well. So we have The Shining, because that's what I'm reading right now. It's one of the books I'm reading right now. Then I have my makeup bag with my lotion, my lip glosses, my hand sanitizer, some powder, some Mentos, I forgot about this, and some lip liner and eyebrow gel and whatnot. Then I have my big fancy sunglasses from Walgreens. My friend actually got those and left them, and I just have been wearing them for years. Then I have my lovely Kindle. I have a personalized case with my initials. I love my Kindle. I have been reading just Anatomy of an Alibi by Ashley Easton. She's from Baton Rouge, I think, or at least she lives in Louisiana, or is from Louisiana, and that book is based in Baton Rouge, so that's cool because I live there. Then I have my little earbuds. I like the wired headphones more than AirPods, so I keep them in this little case thing that I found at Office Depot. Then I also have my tiger's eye heart. I got my boyfriend and I, whenever I was in Canada, I got crystal hearts that matched our eye colors. So he has, I forgot, it had to be some kind of jade or something. It was green, because my eyes are green and then his eyes are brown, so I got tiger's eye because, it's also for protection, so that's nice. I always keep that in my bag. Then I have my wallet. This is my grandma's old Vera Bradley wallet. Before that, I had a Louis Vuitton, which was my mom's, little card holder, and I got sick of not having room for cash and stuff, so I took my grandma's old wallet. I always have about 6 pens at the bottom of my bag, but since I just got this today and cleaned it out, I have cut it down to 2. I also sometimes have my journal. It'll be my writing journal, not my actual diary, because they're 2 separate things. And then I also always have my planner, which is from Barnes & Noble. They used to have at least these little planners, and it's perfect. And then at this little independent bookstore in Baton Rouge called Red Stick Reads, they had this artist little section, and it was an artist named Queenie in Baton Rouge, I think, and they were selling little notebooks from her, So she made these notebooks. I take little notes in here every time I get an idea when I'm in public, because that happens a lot. So, and it's perfect for that. I just will get little ideas for my novel or for a short story and I'll just write it down. And then, like today, I was taking some notes during a meeting for a Shakespeare club. It's just the perfect size and it fits right inside. Yeah, that is all I really keep in the bag. And then in the front pocket I have like a rubber band and my keys. And on my keychain, actually, I want to show y'all, my boyfriend got me this little book club keychain thingy, and it carries all of my stuff. So it's really perfect and it's so cute. Yeah. Another moment for the bag. It's so cute. It was $178. And then there's also the bigger one, which is like 200 something, I think. But I definitely don't need the bigger one. So I got the baby and they had salt. And that's exactly the color that I wanted. So I went ahead and ordered it before it went out of stock. Same thing with acai. So now I have two, and if I get another one, I'll just keep growing my collection, I guess. I've never found a bag that worked so perfectly for just every day and as much stuff as I usually carry around. So it's perfect, and that's why I have two. Now we are going to talk about books that I've read recently, and I'm going to talk a little bit about them and if I liked them or not. Also, I'm wearing my American Psycho shirt, but it's cold, so cardigan on top. I've given up on trying to be aesthetic and just having like outfits that are pretty to look at, because that's just not gonna happen. And I've tried. Every time I try, I feel like a fool. So here we are, t-shirt and cardigan. These are not all from a specific month, and some of these I've definitely already talked about. The first one that I have is The Stranger by Albert Camus. The only thing I have to say about this one is that I did not connect to the main character at all. I did not care for him, and the fact that he had just no motivation and it seemed like he just had rocks for brains, it felt like there was just no thoughts in his mind, no regret, no drive, no nothing, just nothing. And I hated reading about him. I'm not really sure what the point was entirely, but either way, I didn't like the book, so I think I gave it like 2 stars on Goodreads. I didn't like it, and I definitely won't be reading any more Camus after this because I just didn't enjoy it, and that's okay. Just because it's a classic doesn't mean it's gonna be good to everybody. Yeah, so I was disappointed because a lot of people love this, and I do understand the hype. The story is crazy. It's about a man who is just like driven to murder someone over, if I'm remembering correctly, nothing. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it. I mean, there's a little bit, but he did not need to murder this person. If anyone was gonna do it, it would have been the friend, because the main character had nothing to do with the guy so, I don't know, I just didn't like it. And I know that some people are like, oh, then you didn't get it. Sure, maybe I just didn't get it, but I'm not gonna read any more Camus. I just don't like the writing style. I really didn't like the writing style. I felt like it dragged on, which is strange because the book is like this tiny. But yeah, that is my unfortunate review of The Stranger. Moving on, I know I've talked about this, Of Mice and Men by John Steinbeck. Oh, I loved this book so much. So I thought it was very well developed. I think Steinbeck can write characters. No characters that he writes are necessarily good or bad. they're all somewhere in the middle, and it's so cool that he can do that. I hope that I can get to that point in my writing. It's very interesting to read about people who there's no one who's perfect and then there's no one who's evil. They feel real. They feel like real people. So that just makes the story even more real, and that's probably why I almost cried at the end. I don't cry when I read books, so the fact that I teared up means it really hit me. It's because I'm on Lexapro. But things don't make me emotional at all, ever, so the fact that it did, and it broke right through that Lexapro, this book was good. I obviously felt bad for Lenny. Lenny was my favorite character, but there's still the question of, was he a good person? And then, did he deserve what happened to him? Was he a good person or was he a bad person? We don't know. Like, you can't answer that. I felt bad for Curly's wife, kind of, but also, again, was she a good person? Not particularly. There were a lot of questionable things, but I did feel bad for the situation that she was in, and then everything that led to the end definitely had some sympathy for her. The next one is The Pearl by Steinbeck as well. This one was a very weird little story, very strange, and it felt like I was inside of a myth. And I mean, that's the point, but I don't know, it was very atmospheric, and I think it was a really well developed story again. The symbolism and the whole point of the story of The Pearl was very clear, and it felt like a lesson. It was very literal. The story was very literally what it was trying to convey. It wasn't like a hidden message. It felt like a parable, I guess. Very literal lesson from the outcome and the story. The lesson of greed was very much there, and how humans are never satisfied fully. This one was not my favorite. I think I gave it a 3.5 or a 4 on Goodreads. I wasn't as interested in The Pearl as I was of Mice and Men, but it was a really good story, and I did read it in 2 days. So, if you like John Steinbeck at all, definitely read it. It was very interesting. The next one is The Metamorphosis by Kafka. Okay, I personally did not like it, and I don't like Kafka's writing whatsoever. It felt like stream of consciousness kind of writing, no breaks, just paragraph 5 pages long. I don't know, I don't like writing like that, and it didn't really flow to me. It just was too much, and I feel like it dragged on for way too long, and then I just did not like the ending. I didn't like any of it, really. I didn't connect to Gregor. I didn't really care about him. I didn't care what happened to him. I didn't care about his family. And I did not care that he disappointed his dad and his family, really, at all. Because I just didn't care about him. I didn't really understand. I don't understand the obsession with that book and with Gregor. I really did not like Gregor. So it was hard for me to get through it because it wasn't like it was an unlikable character, but it's still fun to read. No, I just hated it. No offense to the Kafka fans, because I get why you would like it. It's just not for me. Sylvia Plath's Mary Ventura and the Ninth Kingdom. This one is a short story. I found it in Barnes & Noble. It's 40 pages long, and the words are really, really big because, like I said, it's a short story. This book was about Mary, whose parents put her on a train, and after a while she realizes from a passenger who's kind of just numb, I guess, to everything going on, she realizes she's going to a place called the Ninth Kingdom, and she doesn't have a choice. She can't get off, I don't really know what the Ninth Kingdom is supposed to symbolize, and I'm gonna have to look into it, and I'm going to have to reread it, but it was very clear that the main character, Mary, wanting to get off and doing everything she can to get off and then finally actually getting off was the unalive allegory, which, I mean, it's Sylvia Plath. She wrote that in her 20s, I think, and it was rejected a bunch of times, but I thought it was really good. I think the writing in that short story was so good and it flowed so well. If I could write like that at my age, I would be so proud of myself. I take some inspiration from that story in my novel. Same with a lot of books, though. But yeah, you can really tell where Sylvia Plath's head was at when you read her work, obviously. Not to be a spoiler, but when she gets off of the train, it's like Mary, choosing to opt out of the system, which is life, and it's pretty clear that is her committing the word that I can't say, and she's choosing to leave it instead of be in that cycle of the train, but, life. If you want a little short story to read that you can probably just find online somewhere, read Sylvia Plath's Mary Ventura and the Ninth Kingdom. I think it's so good. Next, I know that I haven't talked about this yet, unless I'm completely mistaken. Sunburn by Chloe Michelle Howarth. This book was amazing. Okay, this is my favorite LGBTQ book I've ever read. It's about Lucy in Crossmoor, which is a small town in Ireland. She's expected to fall in love with Martin, her neighbor and best friend, since she was little, but she has feelings for Susanna, her other friend. It's in the 90s, and everyone basically in her town is homophobic, and no one would accept her and Susanna being together, and so after love affairs with both of them, because she wants to have who she really wants, but she also wants to do what her mother wants and her family, and she doesn't want to lose everybody, so she goes ahead and gets involved with both of them. So in the end, she has to choose between Martin and Susanna. Will she go off with Susanna, with Susanna's inheritance, at 18 and go live somewhere where they're accepted and they can love each other freely, or will she go live with Martin, take over the farm, and just be stable instead of being happy and conform to what her family wants and everybody else? That's the decision that she has to make, and if she goes with Susanna, obviously she loses everybody that she knows and loves. She loses every single thing except for Susanna, and then if she goes with Martin, the only thing she loses is Susanna. She also loses happiness because she'll be stable, yes, but she won't be happy. It was so beautiful and it was so well written. I did think it was a little overly flowery sometimes, but it also kind of felt like Lucy was just doing the most because she was in love. It felt like reading from somebody's brain while they're in love. So it was well done with that, and I thought all of the little details and all of the little things in high school with the boys and the girls, all of that, it was very accurate. There was homophobia in the book. It was very real feeling, and their love was also, it felt so real. I really, really liked this book. I read it very fast, and I actually read the second half of it outside one day. I sat out on my chair by my pool, and then I got in my pool, and I did not get out until I finished it, and it was so good. 5 stars on Goodreads. I'm glad we're ending off with a good book, because everybody needs to read this. It was so good. I guess what I wanted to talk about was my story that I'm writing. It's about a girl who is 19 like me, and it's basically her coming of age and becoming an adult. And what I wanted to share with you guys is, if you hear my dog and my parents in the background, I'm sorry. Basically, she meets a guy, and he kind of acts like her dad in the way that he is treating her, because the dad is abusive, and obviously she has to choose if she wants to stay, and if she wants to leave and be by herself. She is grappling with her parents telling her that she can't really rely on being a writer, and should probably settle down with a man as soon as she can, or else she will not be successful, and that to them is just the worst possible option. She doesn't have a great relationship with her family. She has this one friend named Danny, who is based off of the song Danny California. She's like free-spirited, she's traveling a lot, she is really down to earth and just will do whatever for her friends. And also on the song, the Zephyr song by the Red Hot Chili Peppers, her name is Danielle Zephyr. And her nickname is Danny, obviously. Lynn is the main character, okay, and Danny and Lynn are best friends, and so it has a female friendship aspect, but Danny meets a guy named Calloway, and Calloway and Danny are dating, and then Lynn and Jacob date as well, which is the guy that she meets in college. They actually end up going on a New Orleans trip, and a lot of things unfold on this New Orleans trip. And the New Orleans trip, I am kind of going to like research and I don't know, like try to envision everything happening in my surroundings and everything while I'm on the trip, and I'll be writing a lot while I'm on the trip. That is next month, and I will be vlogging, by the way. But yeah, me and my boyfriend are going to New Orleans. We are going on a swamp tour. We might go on a ghost tour. We're going to see Macbeth. We're going shopping. We're going to different restaurants, and I want to use that trip to develop my story. So I'm really excited about that. I just wanted to talk about it because I can't stop talking about it. I'm not really sure yet what's going to unfold on this trip. I just know that Jacob is going to show that he is not a good person on this trip, and I think they're going to be there for about a week maybe. They're all staying together. I think there's going to be some kind of affair with Lynn. I don't know if she is going to have an emotional kind of sort of affair with Calloway or with Danny, or if Jacob is going to sleep with someone else, or there has to be some kind of betrayal, but I don't know what it's going to be yet, so I have to decide. But that is my story. I am only a couple thousand words into my draft. I do have a lot of it outlined, but I'm not far. I'm not even at 10K yet, so it's gonna be a long road, but hopefully I can start getting the word count up. I do try to write every day, but the past couple weeks, the past 2 or just 1 week, I guess, I have not written. So I've been on a break from writing, and it's very disappointing because now I'm out of my groove and I have to get back into it. But I have been thinking about this story and writing this story for months, and that's the longest I've ever stuck with a draft, because usually I just scrap them, but honestly I don't think I will, because this one is kind of like a story of me, and I'm gonna add stuff that has happened to me and, things that I've experienced so that it's easier to write, which is a lot of people's debut books. That tends to be what happens. It's like a personal kind of insert. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about. I take inspiration from Ottessa Moshfegh, Sally Rooney. Conversations with Friends is kind of a big inspiration for this book. Just because I like the two relationships and then them all hanging out and being together kind of dynamic. And then Lily King, Joan Didion, also Stephen King. Just love Stephen King. His interviews, I listen to all of them. Joan Didion's and Ottessa Moshfegh's and Lily King's, I've listened to all of them. I've also listened to Sally Rooney's, all on YouTube, where they talk about their writing process, the way their mind works, and just like their books and how they develop their books. So, I mean, the only thing left for me to do is just write, but sometimes that's hard. I have been reading some craft books. I've watched hundreds of craft videos on writing from all different types of writers and people on YouTube and TikTok and everything. I guess I just have to go ahead and keep writing. I have talked to my aunt, who is a writer, and she kind of helped me come up with more of like a synopsis and I guess themes and stuff, but a lot of it is going to have to develop as I write, and I have not been good about it. So I'm telling you guys now, I'm going to be on my grind after this video. I just want to write a couple hundred words a day. That's all I really need. If I could get like 1,000 words every week, I could move along pretty quickly. But you know how to not move along pretty quickly? It's to not write at all, and that's what I've been doing. So I need to get back to it, and I will. Thank you guys for watching. I will be back to talk soon. In July, be on the lookout for my New Orleans vlog, because I'm very excited about that. There's a little desk in my hotel room that has a view of like the balcony and outside, so that'll be nice to sit there and write. Can't wait to talk to you guys soon. Bye guys!